I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about get them to want you again.
Well, that's what we all want.
Yeah.
Right? They should want us back.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
So how do you do it? Well, we have about 1,000 videos that cover it in different ways and shapes and forms. But today I have an interesting email who shares, it's from a woman that's sharing her perspective on being turned off by the other person, and kind of does a nice job of explaining what they were thinking and feeling as the ex or the other guy continued to pursue and make a lot of the mistakes that other coaches will tell you to do, quite frankly.
Okay.
Like a handwritten letter, things like that.
Yep.
And so I really like this email, and I think you guys are going to be find this one really helpful to see how, from somebody's perspective going through it, they're explaining why so many of the strategies that we suggest to you actually work.
Okay, great. So she shared her thought process. It sounds like. How generous of her.
Okay. So she says, "Hello, coaches Craig and Margaret. I've been dying to send you this letter forever, but I thought I should wait. Just in case the other person subscribes to your channel as well. In case you decide to share this, please add some creative twist to not make it so obvious and spare the guy some embarrassment." So I did.
Okay.
So there's just minor little things so she could relax a little bit. Because, when you guys do send in an email and we use it, I do change some of the things to make the person anonymous. I'll change careers or ages. I'll make it more vague, change names. So you can relax, because I don't want anybody to ever feel like, oh my gosh, they're going to know who I was. Right. Okay? On to the story. After giving myself sufficient time to heal post-breakup, I decided it was time to start dating again. I met someone, and we dated for about 6 weeks. He's a nice guy, but we simply weren't connecting on a deeper level. Which already, in that one sentence, it tells me he was coming on too strong.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah. That's just what my gut is telling me. Yeah. I can't go into too much detail without it being too obvious, but let's just say he's beta to the max.
Beta.
Yeah, like a beta male.
Not alpha.
Yeah. In other words, too nice, too...
Okay. All right.
What's the word? Accommodating. Yeah, like
all right.
Too smothering, just too much. It's too much, right? And she says, and I'm not fully convinced he's hetero.
Oh, I guess he's quite beta.
I decided to break things off with a phone call because we were still fairly casual and they hadn't been intimate. He lived pretty far away from me, especially if you factor in the traffic. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of traffic in their area. And a certain holiday was coming, and I wanted to make sure he didn't want to spend an expensive amount of money or make non-refundable plans with me. So she was considerate.
Yes, she was.
She knew she didn't have strong feelings for this guy.
Yeah.
She could sense that he may have liked her so much that it was overwhelming her. Decided, she thought, okay, I better break it off. She hadn't been intimate with him yet, and she considered that when she said the phone call. So it sounds like she would have met him in person. She
was perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, it sounds like she had been watching the channel for a while, right? Okay. She says he took it well. Didn't beg, didn't plead, was very mature about it. He ended the call with, "If you ever change your mind, I hope you give me a call." Right? What does she say here? It was textbook Coach Craig and Margaret advice.
Yep.
And I hung up feeling relieved, impressed, and I'll admit, wondering if I made the right choice.
Because he handled it so well.
You see that?
Yeah.
He said just what we say, or along those lines.
Yeah.
She was relieved, and I think she meant relieved how well he took it.
He handled it, yeah.
Yeah. Impressed with how well he took it, and wondering if he made the right choice, or she made the right choice.
She made the right choice, yeah.
And so, if he had left her alone, you could tell already, just by that, she was starting to regret it and think, I should have given this guy more time, given him another chance. I didn't give him enough of a chance. She's already there, just getting off the phone with it. But, as you can imagine, it didn't go well. She says, my decision nagged at me all night and through the following morning. Did I give him a fair shot? Could we have made it work? Was I throwing away a good guy? I thought about sending him a text to tell him I've reconsidered. You see that? It's just what we say all the time. Then it happened. I got the email. She put it in quotes. In it, he asked whether I would consider giving him another chance. He listed out all the possible ways we were perfect for each other and how he would address all my concerns.
Okay.
Sounds like he wasn't watching our channel.
No, that's not, no.
My hesitation immediately hardened into resolve. I hate to say it, but the email just obliterated any shred of attraction I had left for him.
So it was too much.
You see how quickly, Margaret? That fast.
Yep.
This is what we tell you guys. That the good reminder text or the email, it just turns people off.
Yes, it does.
What attracted her right away was, okay, leave it alone. If you change your mind,
and look how well he handled it.
But then the next day, he didn't go
back,
to
he
it.
Couldn't leave it alone.
Yep. Okay. It did nothing but confirm that I was doing the right thing.
Because it was coming on too strong, as you suspected in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was a nice guy, and I figured I at least owed him a response. I thanked him for his email and for the chance to get to know him, but told him that my mind was made up and that I wished him the best. That weekend, I went on a short trip with some girlfriends. I received a phone call from a number I didn't recognize and let it go to voicemail. The next day, I listened, surprised, to the message saying that I had a flower delivery and the florist wanted to know who would accept it in my absence. I asked my building concierge to bring the flowers to my unit. When I got back from my trip, sure enough, the flowers were from him, with a card asking for another chance. I sent him another email thanking him for the flowers and stating that I stood firm on my decision. I was really hoping that was the end of that, but he responded yet again, this time saying he thought about doing, and I'm not making this up, quote unquote, a grand gesture, but settled on the flowers instead. If a huge bouquet of flowers was the backup plan, I'm not sure I want to know what the grand gesture would have been. I decided not to reply. This experience couldn't have impressed the lesson upon me any clearer. When somebody breaks up with you, the best response is to exit gracefully and leave, she put clap, them.
Leave.
Clap alone. Clap.
Yeah. Good for her.
If he had only kept his distance, there was still the slightest chance I may have changed my mind, or at least remembered him with some admiration for his dignity and confidence. I think we are all programmed to think that fighting for the relationship is romantic, but really it just feels like an imposition on the dumper.
That's wonderful, and it's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I went from regret and doubt to cold, firm resolve, to irritation and annoyance, all because the guy just couldn't leave it enough alone. You've said it a million times, but it took having the shoe on the other foot for the message to finally hit home. Anyway, that's my story, and I want to thank you both, and Coach Victoria as well, for the eye-opening work that you do. I never did get back with my ex, but I got something even better. A deeper appreciation for her understanding and knowledge of who I am. I still have a way to go, but this journey is one I am happily taking with your profound and generous guidance.
Wow, how generous of her to share her process. Thank you,
yes.
Madam.
And thank you for showing what we try and articulate so often to you guys, that this is why we really believe that leaving somebody alone is the most likely way to get them to think about you and want to come back.
And the most respectful way. I think that's the bottom line. The most respectful thing is if somebody asks you for distance or ends the relationship, they have every right to do that. And all you can do is graciously say, okay.
Now look, many of you have already made the mistakes. Many of you have already sent the email, sent the handwritten letter, sent the gift, sent the flowers, went to their house, called their friends and family. You can't do anything about that.
No.
Okay? Don't try and immediately compare your situation to theirs. Remember, this was a brand new relationship with somebody she hadn't even been intimate with, and she was questioning their sexuality. So there was a lot going on here in a short amount of time.
Yep.
It's not the same as you've been with somebody for a long time and you're going through a breakup. But as you can see, the behaviors do what we have seen time and time again, which is why we try and warn you to not do those things.
Right.
So hopefully this at least is a wake-up call that you don't want to continue these behaviors, because this is very similar results that we see when you don't do those things.
Right. And also, I think you raise a very important point, because I've heard many, particularly guys, but some women too, saying, I want to fight for the relationship. Who are you going to fight? The other person has to want to seek it too. You know, there's no one to fight. There's just no battle there. And you certainly don't want to fight the partner you want back.
Yeah. You know, we understand your thinking, and we understand why trying all these things sounds like a good idea. But if we thought they were effective, we would tell you to do them.
Yes.
But this is simply another example of what happens when you chase your ex. What happens, you could see the huge difference with her attraction level with his behavior.
Right.
From immediately thinking, I may have made a mistake, had he left her alone, he would at least had another chance.
Yep.
Now, they may have not wound up becoming anything more, but that was when she was the most attracted to him.
But when he started...
flowers and the email and will you give me another chance, she only became more adamant in her decision. Yep. So if you're thinking about breaking no contact and chasing them, remember this email. Now obviously every situation is different, and you know, we'll be happy to talk to you about your situation and, you know, give you ideas or strategies or explore what we would do if we were in your situation. But, you know, like we said, unfortunately, these are the results of what happens when you chase somebody when they want to end a relationship. Right. You know? Exactly. Yeah. And you could see a handwritten letter is going to just be just as bad as an email.
More of the same.
It's more of the same, exactly. which is why we laugh about it all the time and say don't do it, because it just baffles us that people think it works.
But her birthday is next week, and our anniversary is right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I should contact her on those? No. But that's inevitably what we hear, right?
Yeah.
But his birthday is next week, her birthday is next week, yeah.
Understanding what happened, and when we go through your situation with you and you talk about it, you're going to feel so much better. Yeah. Because this is what we do all day, every day,
And most people say that, don't they, at the end of a call? Thank you, I feel better.
Yeah.
Good. We're very happy about that.
Yeah. It takes a big weight off of you in a lot of ways, where you're just like, I'm glad I talked about it, because maybe some of the things that they were thinking were validated, or some of the things that they were worried about, they're not so worried about anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and people tend to blame themselves. And I think sometimes when we're able to say, okay, you may have made a mistake there, but it isn't all your fault, is a tremendous relief for people.
Yeah. Margaret and I go much more deep when we're looking at situations, and we're trying to look at mental health of the people involved. We're trying to look at trauma. We're trying to get a better feel for things that are, obviously more than just surface level, how do I reply to a text? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because there is so much more underlying in the unconscious that is coming out. Families are sabotaging. Right. Maybe the person's not individuated.
Absolutely.
How many things do we look at in any given situation?
Many, many different things.
So, understanding some of the basics is important for you, like not over pursuing somebody, because you can see attraction often goes up and down simply based on that. Right? So, of course, we're here for guidance. And if you want to get our help personally, you could go to my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. And of course, Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you think I can be helpful, please sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.